We're going to keep going with solving inequalities. Remember, an inequality is just a math sentence that uses a greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to symbol instead of an equation, or rather than instead of an equal sign. However, it doesn't change the way that we solve these out. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find the side of your inequality that has the variable. I like to draw lines around my inequality sign, around my equal sign, so I know that I'm talking about the left side and the right side, and then there's just the space that has the inequality in between. So let's take a look over at the left side, because that's where I see my variable x. I'm going to work away from my variable. I'm going to work with this constant, because I can see on the left side there are no variables to combine. If I want to combine this constant with the 12, I have to move it across my inequality, which means I need to use inverse operations. I can see this is a negative 8, so I want to add 8 on both sides. When I do that, I haven't used my 2x, so I'm going to bring it down. Negative 8 plus 8 right here is, negative 8 plus 8 is just going to equal 0, so this I can cross out, bring down my inequality, and 12 plus 8 is 20. The whole purpose of this is to get x by itself, or to isolate the variable. I can see that 2 is squished next to x, which means multiply. To use the inverse operation, I need to divide by 2 on both sides. 2 divided by 2 is 1. We can represent that by just crossing it out and bringing down x. Bring down our inequality, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. So our answer is x is less than 10. Take a look at this. Negative 5x plus 3 is greater than negative 17. First things first, I can see I'm dealing with an inequality sign. I'm dealing with the greater than sign. I'm going to put my lines around it so again I can pay attention to the left side and to the right side. On the left side, I see I just have negative 5x. There aren't any x's I can combine, so then I'm going to look at my constants. I have positive 3, and I have negative 17. They're on opposite sides of the equal sign, and I want to move this 3 over here, so that means I'm going to need inverse operations. The inverse of add 3 is subtract 3 on both sides. I haven't used my negative 5x, so I'm going to bring that down. Plus 3 minus 3 is 0, so that goes away. We don't need 0 in our inequality. Bring down our greater than sign, and then we have negative 17 minus 3. With these, whenever I have negative numbers, I like to write them out side to side so that I can remember my rules. When I subtract with negatives, I use keep, change, change. And so now it's negative 17 plus negative 3 equals negative 20. I think some of you might have been thinking it was negative 14. Don't make that mistake. It's negative 20. My last step here is to isolate x, or get x by itself. I can see negative 5 is squished next to x, so I'm going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, so I'm just left with 1x. I just divided by a negative, and there should be a crazy rule that you remember, is when you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip your sign. So this greater than sign becomes a less than sign. And negative 20 divided by negative 5 is positive 4. So my final answer is x is less than 4. Time to practice.